It's the Al Travis Show. We're lucky to have him on. He is the voice for sports in Western Minnesota. He's Todd Bergeth. Todd, how are you?
I'm good, Al.
Good. I thank you very much for doing the program with us again today. I was picking the Vikings to win. It was a homer pick. I'll give you that, right? It was because we had to win, and I said that. Not that I thought everything was lining up for us. Right. But, Todd, if I told you before the game started you had $100 to bet me.
Yeah.
Our second string quarterback, Wentz, would go down near the end of the second quarter and look like he may or may not be coming back. I would tell you we'd have 2 turnovers, one leading to 7 points for the other team. We would get none for us. We would have a field goal that gets missed hitting a cable wire and no one noticing. We would purposely bench Addison for the entire first quarter because Knucklehead had to go out and party in London. And even at the end, we took Darrisaw out with a quarter to play because he played enough plays. He's good for us. And I told you we'd still win. Would you take the bet?
I probably would not have.
No.
So they overcame a lot. The Darrisaw thing, and then it was pointed out, I was watching, and all of a sudden Darrisaw's not in the game. The broadcast crew never mentioned it. They never said a thing. They weren't really sharp, I didn't think. I'm not the biggest Jonathan Vilma fan, and they were missing a lot of stuff. How much did Harrison Smith play? He didn't start the game. The offensive line is devastated by injury right now, and Wentz looked, less than pedestrian for much of the game, and then he leads a terrific drive at the end of the game, and 80 yards to win the game at the end. I was thinking we were going to see Max Brosmer in the second half because Wentz, and he comes back out, he's got the shoulder harness on. I wondered what had happened, but they kind of pulled one out. But, they've done that during the Kevin O'Connell era. I don't know if it's his magic that is working. That has to be part of it. He handles the clock correctly. He seems to be a good play caller in clutch situations. And he did a lot of things in Sunday's game that he doesn't normally do offensively. He's not a rollout guy. He doesn't like to move the pocket very much. They asked him about it after the game, and he said, "We did what we had to do today to get a win," telling you that's not what he likes to do. But he went outside of what he's comfortable with, called some different formations and things to get Wentz a little more comfortable with what he was doing and protect him a little bit. And it worked at the end. Fortunately, they weren't playing a great team. The Browns had a rookie in there who didn't look, he looks like a career backup. That's only one game. So,
but the idea, though, the Browns are not a great team, but their defensive line is as good as anybody. And when you look against our guys who were in second and third stringers and you take Darrisaw, we were decimated. I really thought this was the end of us. This would be the end of Wentz. He would be at some point decapitated. But by going to the outside, going to the quick screens, going to the runs of those into the teeth of that because they were over pursuing, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it took those guys away. I don't know what the getter guy only had like 2 rushes the whole day. I think it was brilliant planning on our part, quite frankly. Your thoughts on a couple of things. Was it Akers' TD throw?
Yeah.
It fooled me out. I'm like, we're going to run this thing, and he goes around the corner, and I was He stopped, boom, open guy, brilliant play.
Apparently, he's quite a passer. He played some quarterback when he was younger. KOC knows him from the Rams days, and apparently he was 5 out of 8 with like 3 or 4 touchdowns in his Rams days, too, so he knew that was the case. As a defense, how can you expect a running back who was just brought onto the roster, 2 or 3 weeks ago, to throw a halfback pass? You wouldn't. And he lines
up in the Wildcat. Everybody was confused. He lined direct hike to him. It's like the Wildcat. He's going to run. No, he can run over there. He's going to throw the ball. I thought it was brilliant. You don't see KOC doing that much. I'm not a big fan. I think when you have to do trick plays to win, you're in trouble. But it really was a momentum thing that I think helped us out quite a little bit. I was very happy with it, quite frankly.
Yeah, I was too. I got to agree. I'm not a huge fan of the trick plays, especially when you see them call them down in the red zone and they run some kind of a double reverse or something
Yeah.
like that that takes way too long behind the line of scrimmage and they wind up giving up some kind of a sack or whatever.
Yeah.
And it looks ridiculous. Now, I don't mind it in your own end. You're at the 35, 40-yard line. You're kind of in neutral position on the field. It's okay
Yep.
once in a while. But I'm usually with you. A trick play, we have to pull that out in order to beat them. It worked, though, and they had the right guy.
Yeah.
They weren't going to have Jordan Mason throw that pass,
Yeah.
but they had Cam Akers in there. How many other snaps did he get during the course of a game? So now when he comes on the field, defenses are going to go watch the pass because he comes in and throws, and it worked perfectly.
Okay. So now we go here. We're 3-2. I love that. I think we could have been 4-1 easily if we had any kind of a front line. But okay, 3-2. The next 4 games are going to be our hardest 4, I think, in a row. I believe if you can split them, 2-2, we're 5 in. That would make us 5-4. Halfway through a season, we could look then at a 10-win season, which I think is more than most folks gave us credit for. Am I blowing smoke, or are you seeing that? We have 2 weeks now to get some front line in front of these people. I want to know if you want to play JJ, or are you going to keep Wentz going, who's working? Give me your thoughts on what do we do in the next 2 weeks and where we sit.
Boy, it's a hard call. I'm a big JJ supporter. I think if he's ready to play, you go back to him, even though it may or may not improve your chances at the playoffs. I don't think they know what they have yet. It isn't a big enough sample. With this bye week, you can really get him coached up again. That's all he's been getting for almost 2 years. It's getting coached up. But I do go back to JJ McCarthy. And if it's the same as it looked like the first 2 weeks for 2 more weeks, then you may have to go back to Wentz, because this is a team that is expensive and it's old. It's a team that is meant to win right now. They spent all the way up to the salary cap on defensive linemen, on bringing Thielen back. Thielen wasn't that expensive, but doing a lot of things. This is a team that intends to win right now. They believed in the offseason when they were putting this roster together, in part they could buy all those defensive players because they aren't paying the quarterback anything. They believe they could win right now with a rookie quarterback, or pseudo rookie quarterback. We haven't seen that yet, although they did win the first game with him. They're 1-1 officially with him. I think you have to go back to McCarthy. You invested a lot in him. You've invested a lot of time, and at least for a while, and see how it goes. And maybe some of the teams that they're playing aren't quite as good as we thought they might be. The Eagles, for example, may not be quite as tough.
I would tell you talked me right into thinking I think it's going to be Wentz for the next game. I say that he was an Eagles guy for a while. He's on a roll. We can always use the excuse, he's still getting better. But if we put in JJ and he loses these next 2 games, and now there is a controversy, the kid's only won 1 game out of 4, and all of a sudden he's wiped old meat before he ever got a chance to do anything. I think you can protect him from that. I think the Eagles is the hardest game of these next couple right away. Now, they may not be for real, but they also might be come back with a vengeance with how bad they played. They're a win-now team. They will put the quarterback on that they think gives us the best chance to win now, and I'm sorry just because JJ hasn't thrown a football really in 2 years, a game and a half. We got to go to break. When we come back, you watch any MLB?
I do. I watch the playoffs, yes.
All right. We'll talk about that coming up next. I got him, Todd Bergeth. He is the voice of sports in Western Minnesota. We chat with him about Major League Baseball next. I've got him. He's the voice of sports in Western Minnesota. He's Todd Bergeth. Todd, I appreciate you being here. Let's talk a little Major League Baseball. And your thoughts on the playoffs. Quite frankly, I think the best matchup of all of them already happened. It would have been the Sox and the Yankees if that would have been further down the line as far as all the matchups go. But that's not what it is. Your thoughts on who you're looking for to get it all the way to the series?
Before the playoffs began, I took the Dodgers. I didn't take the top seeds. I don't know that Seattle has quite enough necessarily, just because they had the bye. to get through. So I'm kind of looking at Toronto. They look like beasts. Now, I will say I didn't pick Toronto before the playoffs began, but since watching them, they look awful good. So I'm kind of switching my allegiance. I originally took the Tigers, even though they were the 6th seed, and kind of collapsed it down the stretch and coughed up a 15 and a half game lead. It was an epic collapse, actually. Is what
but you were jumping on that bandwagon.
I was. I'm a big Tarek Skubal fan. I just think that he's the best pitcher still going in the playoffs right now. And then he lost. Yesterday. They lost Skubal's game. I don't think he got the loss necessarily, but so I'm kind of moving away from the Tigers and over to Toronto. So I'm a little fluid, but it isn't the Twins. I don't care that much. I just want to see good baseball, and Toronto looks really good.
But the Toronto Yankee thing is a problem. Yeah. First, Toronto, they're not an American city. I cannot, because of who I am, a patriot, vote for them. But the other end, it's New York, and I hate them worse, so yes, I go with Toronto. I'm sorry, America. I went with Toronto because it's the Yankees, and who wants
anybody
them?
But the Yankees?
Exactly.
Anybody but the Yankees. Yeah.
So on the other side, though, so we're looking at L.A. and the Phillies. You took L.A. early. Yeah. I just want them in as long as possible so I can watch that pitcher, Ohtani. I just want to see him. I don't really care about the Phillies, but they're manhandling him so far.
Yeah, Ohtani's absolutely one of one. To be able to pitch and hit like he can. I had hoped it might lead to more of these stars coming through college and being allowed to pitch and hit both. But I don't think we're going to see a sudden rush of that, because I just think that his talents are so unique that there isn't anybody else going to do it. Now, he does have 2 Tommy John surgeries under his belt, and if he has to have one more, that'll probably be it for him pitching. But I have heard a potential, if that were to happen in his career down the road, that he would move into the outfield or play first base or something too. So,
and he would. You want him as an everyday player. And then the only other group right now that I find fascinating is the Cubs and the Brewers. Brewers are for real. They're a good ball team. They pay next to nothing. They came out of nowhere. I like them, but I just like the idea of the Cubs and the Brewers and their fans basically going back and forth. It's a home game almost with everybody that's going to be there. I love the excitement of that. And then Milwaukee's kind of thumping on the Cubs right now. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I like to watch Mizorowski. I mean, he's throwing. I saw a stat last night early in the game from a Twin Cities beat writer that was following it and tracking his velocity through the first 3 innings. I saw, and I didn't see the end of the game. I should have checked on it, but I was out on the golf course here in Arizona. And he was throwing 104.7 miles an hour with his fastball. And his slider was a little over 98. So he was a little pumped up. The guy just has an electric arm. And I had no problem with him being named to the All-Star game. That's an exhibition, by the way, even though he only had 5 starts or whatever in his career. So he's really fun to watch. I love to see the flamethrowers out there. I would not want to have to face 104 miles an hour.
You have to swing before he lets go of the ball. You have to start swinging right away. It's unbelievable. One last thing before I let you go. It's a side note. Major League Baseball is now going to have automatic balls and strike machines, calling the balls and strikes. You for that or against it? I'm going to bet you're against it because you're an old man like myself, and we've survived baseball having some errors once in a while on the calls. Your thoughts?
Nope, I'm on the opposite side of this.
Really, Todd? Really? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I don't like how they're doing it. The way they're doing it, I would say just stick with what you have. This challenge thing, baseball, the key play in the game or the key pitch in the game could happen in the first inning. If somebody scores 2 runs in the first inning, there's no more scoring. The key play happened in the first inning. So I don't like the challenge system. 2 challenges, if you're correct, you get another one. I think that's not the way to do it. I think the way they should do it, and they have the ability to, is to go full 100% ABS. You still have the home plate umpire, but he has a light connected to his face mask. Green light, it's a strike. Red light, it's a ball. And they're able to signal him very quickly. The problem is that they did a massive study on how many missed balls and strikes there were in Major League Baseball. They did this study about 3 years ago. And they came out with, they're missing, 6% of
6%. Yeah,
so
that's a lot.
That's a lot. If you have do the math. If they have a 300 pitch game because it happens to be high scoring, that's 15 missed calls.
Yeah.
So it's too many. Some of them come in key situations. The human element is fine. I just want the game called the best it possibly can be.
All right, fair enough. Then we got to get those tennis things in there, where the cameras are down the line and it shows you if the ball's in. Then we don't need that guy making a right call or wrong call. It hits the dust or it doesn't. Yep. And then maybe some green light flashes across the stadium. It's in or it doesn't. If you're going to go that way, it's going to become a kid's pinball machine. I'm sorry, Todd. I'm again at what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Well,
but
far, it's 150. On your side.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see what happens next year. Got to fly, my friend. Thank you for taking the time to be on the program. I really do appreciate you, Todd.
Yep, thanks, Al.
He's Todd Bergeth, voice of sports in Central Minnesota. We'll get back with more right after this.